Welcome back to the Sports Source. The segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Nobody has a bigger, better, wider selection of new boats than Madisonville Marine. These guys carry so many makes and models, I'd wear you out if I listed them all. But they also have a huge warranty-backed selection of pre-owned boats. Bob Hodge bought one down there a decade ago and has loved it ever since. Their customer service is great, their selection is great, their pricing is great, and that's true of new boats and their pre-owned boats. Get down, see the folks at Madisonville Marine this week, Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Okay, let's take a look at Tennessee's foes and what they did. Bowling Green upsets Minnesota yesterday. Pittsburgh knocks off New Hampshire 77-7, beat them like they were Old Hampshire. Eastern Illinois knocks off Tennessee Tech. I don't know why I put Tech up there. They're going to lose every game. Tennessee's next opponent lost at Boston College. That made Missouri was the first SEC visitor to Boston College since 1987, when our own Sterling Hinton was the backup quarterback for Jeff Francis, who got hurt, and they lost 20-18. So the Boston College needs to try Alabama on for size. They want to bring somebody up there.
Was Sterling next man up?
Sterling was the next man up, and the next two games now against Kentucky and Ole Miss. The next 2 weeks, he tore him up. He's dancing on the sidelines over here. All right, Kentucky 16-10 over South Carolina, and Kentucky, South Carolina, Minnesota, Missouri, Tennessee. It's all just one big bag of average, it seems, at best. Alabama pounds Southern Miss into dust. Georgia annihilates Vanderbilt. I'm up in Vandy looks horrible. Then they make you think, well, they could at least be a decent football team, and then they give up 35 first quarter to Georgia. Yeah. Ole Miss and South Alabama had the day off. All right, Chuck, Missouri, their run defense is atrocious. Boston College ran for 275 on them, 5.5 yards per carry. Kentucky ran for 340 on Missouri. Central Michigan ran for 174. Their three FBS foes have averaged 263 rushing yards against them. Your thoughts on the Tigers? We don't want you to give away everything before your pick, but your thoughts on the Tigers?
Well, they can't stop the run, and they can't run the ball. You know, you keep hearing how it's a line of scrimmage league, and you talk about somebody missing somebody. Didn't it seem like, wasn't it Larry Roundtree, the running back? Yeah. It seemed like he was there for 6 years, and it seemed like he always hurt Tennessee. But, you know, what I wrote down was the quarterback, Connor Bazelak. He was the kid that didn't start here last year. And I think it was Robinson that started for them. They put him in. He's been in there. He will sit back there and hold the ball on pass plays as long as you let him. So, I mean, you look at Missouri, it's going to be an interesting game. You know, we'll talk about it some more. But you just, even though they lost on an interception in overtime, this is how bad it was, Missouri did. The corner, the defensive back for Boston College said it was a blown coverage on his part. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He made the pick, but it was just a tough inning for them.
I think you can make a case that because they were a little better than people expected last year, they found their quarterback last year, there were some expectations from Missouri this year that it was going to be between them and Kentucky for third place in the East. You can make a case that the biggest disappointment in the league so far is Missouri. Yeah. Everyone's nodding that they agree, I guess.
Well, the line of scrimmage thing is the part of it. Now, last year Tennessee just lined up with this jumbo thing and ran out down the throat. But to see Boston College run on them like that, they were out physicaling Missouri. I think that's a big red flag for Missouri this year, is the inability to stop the run and the inability to run the football. Even though they're getting a really good year out of Tyler Beatty, a lot of his yards come from receptions.
Yeah, Missouri, I mean, when they entered this league, they were dominant. The reason they got the SEC championship game is because they did have great wide receivers and quarterback play, but the defensive line that they had, the offensive line, you came in, that was a physical
pass rushers that went to the NFL.
That was a physical game you were going up against. They don't have that right now, so that is a big issue for them. Their identity is physical play. They're not there.
Josh, it's an 11 a.m. start for Missouri. I don't know, in Central Time. So I don't know if that hurts Missouri more or Tennessee more or their fans more, which would in turn hurt Missouri more.
Yeah, Tennessee's had these early kickoffs, so maybe that helps. Tennessee found something positive in the ground game on offense against Florida. You have to be able to carry that over, whether it's Milton or Hooker, against this Missouri defense. So do that, and then on the defensive side, I guess my fear would be that Drinkwitz, their head coach this week, just sees different ways to get receivers wide open, and they're just pick here with Baselak.
All right, very good. When we come back, Chuck's going to set the line, and boy, did he set a good one this past week. 17.5 And a lot of us here on the panel were sweating that back and forth right down to the last second last night. We'll tell you the standings of how we're doing on the season, and we'll make our picks for this game. Come on back to the Sports Source.